Hello, I am Allie Kirby, and I'm excited to be talking about my nerdiness today. Last video, I mentioned that I like to collect certain things. I collect mugs, pens. If I could, I'd collect paper. Comic books. Dice is another one. All of these kind of go into the realm, like bleed into the realm of my nerdy world, I guess. And it's kind of just snowballed throughout my whole life. So I wanted to talk to you about it a little bit. I have some really good friends who are in this with me. I'm wearing a Dungeons and Dragons shirt. One of my really good friends got me, but I got to play Dungeons and Dragons with another fantastic friend. So it's just been, it's glorious. I nerd out over the funniest things. Like, I could sit here and tell you all about lizards, for example, or caterpillars. So, like, back to the nature, you know? I like paint. I could nerd out about like the smell of paint, but let's just go through what I'm like all about. I'm gonna try to go in order. So what led to what? I like anime. It's like, it sucks me in and I'm in a whole new world. TV, movies, all of those things. Like, I'm all about them. I feel like I learn things from them, even though a lot of them are make-believe and just silly and fun. So anime is probably where this kind of started. Anime and PlayStation, the first PlayStation. So there's a game that me and my sister had when we were growing up on the first PlayStation. I think it was Dragon Warrior. That was a really fun game. That's kind of where it started. Then I got a Game Boy Color. Oh, Nintendo? Oh no, I'm blanking on that game console, but I remember the controller. Dang it. Well, that's fine. That's probably closer to where it started because I played Mario on that. This really kind of escalated after I got my Game Boy Color. My first game was Pokemon Yellow. I stayed up all night playing the game. I was playing hard, you know? I fell asleep and the battery died. I know that the nerds out there are like, no, this is so sad. Because it was so sad. And then I started saving my game like crazy. It's like if you're doing graphic design and you're like doing all this work and your computer crashes or something and you lose all of the work you did. So then from now on, you just save like every 10 seconds, it feels like. Game Boy, Pokemon, animes that really sucked me in: Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Inuyasha, Witch Hunter Robin, Wolf's Rain. Okay, I have to say thank you to Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. They had late night anime on, and that's kind of what got me. Because, you know, when you're a teenager, you just stay up forever. I've always really liked games, so board games. They cost a lot of money and sometimes you can't find them. So I never really started collecting the board games that I really liked, not until way later. So I've got some. When I was in middle school, I knew people who played Magic the Gathering, but I think that some of my family somehow got it into my head that it was like devil worship or stuff, and I think that's gotta go back to Satanic Panic. I don't even know where it came from. Like, I don't know where I picked that up. I've since started playing it, and I've got 2 decks up there. It's pretty fun. I've always liked dice, but I never had a reason to have dice until I started playing Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, Blockbuster might be to blame, guys, because I started noticing that I really liked a specific type of art style, and it was anime, but it's like Studio Ghibli really got me sucked in. Spirited Away. So I've got some of the Studio Ghibli movies up here. When I turned 13, I got my Game Boy Color SP. I have that right here. It does still work, but the battery doesn't stay charged for very long. And I've got, what game do I have in here? Pokemon Emerald. And recently, my daughter, she's 3, and she found Pokemon, and she loves it. It makes me so happy inside. This is all while I'm still here in Lakeland. And when I moved, I managed to find a job working, wait for it, for a magician. This is when it happened. So I worked for a magician for a good chunk of time. By far is one of my favorite bosses. I've had 2 fantastic bosses in my life. He is one of them. He just knew how to help us to have fun. I mean, face painting is in that whole children's entertainment realm. So it kind of brought me back to my painting. Then he bought a comic book store. I liked comics from afar. I love Batman. I just nerd out over other things too. And so I never really sunk in to the comic book realm until I started working. I stayed working for him, but I worked at the comic book shop. When that happened, it went downhill because around the same time I also met my now husband, and he played video games, like computer games, and I had never gotten into the computer game world until I really met John. It was two things happened at the same time: comic books and computer gaming. I got into League of Legends. Actually, what happened first was I got into Han. I think it's Heroes of Newerth, and that game is full of toxic people, but the game was really fun. I would be really shy talking with people, and that's how I kind of got to know the gaming world. Not great at it. It's taken me a while. And then John and his friends switched to League of Legends. So I started playing League of Legends. I got hooked because the artwork was so cool and fun, and then I stayed because of that. The same thing kind of happened because of Magic the Gathering. They gave credit to all their artists on their cards, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So I started collecting the cards because I wanted the artist's work. Like, I know people have much more than I do, but I'm proud of the things I have. So these are two things filled with cards. And these are my tokens. So yeah. Here's what's happened. This is the handful of comics to show you the range of art that I like in the comics. This is not my collection. This is this teeny tiny sample. Wayward. I got this one because he's my favorite artist right now. So this is Kenneth Rutherford's art. He is amazing. And I don't know if he realizes that he has a fan. This is a League of Legends comic book. Low. Like, this is I think this is a one-off. It's really cool. That's the comic book world. I got sucked in because of the art. And what you're not seeing here is my giant collection of DC comics, because I do love DC. I really like the comic books, the stories and stuff in DC. Marvel's a lot harder to follow in the comics, but when it comes to like their shows and their movies and stuff, I really like Marvel's stuff. Over here is my art book collection, so artists and their work that I've gotten over the years. One of the things that I often find lacking in the Christian realm is the love in the arts. Now, it used to be big. It used to be like, we will honor this artist. The artist will honor their religion, all this other stuff. That's where you get the Sistine Chapel and all these other things. Art used to be huge in the Christian world. I feel like it just disappeared. I think some of it's the culture, like the arts and culture, it wasn't useful, so let's get rid of it. I'm a big proponent on bringing it back. But I found a collection of stories on the saints illustrated by an artist I really like, but it's such a good book. And during holidays and stuff, we'll read the stories to our kids for fun. So I am a huge nerd for all sorts of things, and I love trying new stuff and reading about new things, and I could swim in all of the art in all of the nerd world. I feel like they do a really good job of expressing and showing appreciation and all this other stuff. I'm gonna tell you right now that one of the problems that I have in real life, because I'm such a nerd, is that I often find that I want to compare whatever is going on with a topic that I really love. So like TV shows or movies and stuff. But not everyone is as nerdy as I am. I understand that. And I go in all professional into these situations, but in the back of my mind, when someone's talking about, like, I don't know, how to talk about the use of light in an art piece, or like communication, or comparing something in the real world, I always end up going to weird things like vampires. If you have to choose between vampires and werewolves, vampires. Every single time. Werewolves are great. I found out way later in life that my dad liked werewolves. I was like, oh my gosh, I like vampires. This is awesome. I didn't know my dad liked stuff like this. I think that having a love for these nerdy related things genuinely brings joy and fun in life. Like my brother, I guess both of my brothers, do this thing that I've noticed. They seem to like to try different games and different ways of interacting with games and stuff. But I just saw that they posted about playing Magic the Gathering, and I was like, what? Why was I not informed about this? Oh brother, it's fine. I don't care that much. I just wanted to share all about my nerdiness, and there's so much more. My other dream job, because I'm so happy where I am right now, but my other dream job is like working for a gaming company doing illustration. If I could work for Riot doing illustration, oh, Lord have mercy. I don't even know. I feel like I'd be so happy I'd lay on the floor every day or something. Yeah, I could talk about this topic all day long. I just love everything nerdy. Now, I know people take it too far sometimes. That's not my jam. But generally speaking, I just want to be around other nerds. It's fun. It's really fun. And I just love how creative they are. That's like huge for me. I miss it. I miss being around that. Alright guys, I just love you so much. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.